Hey, curious cuties. Welcome to Curiocity. I'm your host, Lauren Deliri. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Please help me welcome my sister, the multifaceted and magical Brooke Kane. So Brooke is a Capricorn Sun, Gemini Moon, and Taurus Rising, and that just by itself tells you a lot about her. So we dive deep into her passion for books. She's a new little book girly, her self-sufficient hobbies. She's now taking Krav Maga, and her determined journey to fall in love with Nashville, even though we both kind of hate it. So as an evening show host at a Nashville radio station, same one I work at, she's also a photographer and a personal thrift shopper. Brooke shares her experiences in becoming a one-woman show, mastering new skills and embracing a low-tech lifestyle, unlike her sister. So Brooke also reveals her creative endeavors and her ventures, including a unique clothing line with just one dress, which I own. And she opens up about her belief in the magic of fairy tales, her dream of healing the world through nature, and how she balances being an opinionated bitch. Just kidding. Being an opinionated, outgoing introvert with a desire to be a hermit. That's who we are. So in a heartfelt discussion, of course, Brooke talks about the imaginative world of Curiocity, likening it to the dollhouse of our childhood in Sunnyville, which is a place of endless possibilities and roles to explore. So keep listening to discover Brooke's inspiring journey, her whimsical philosophy on life, and how she blends business with play, much like a CEO Barbie. So curious cuties, please help me welcome Brooke Kane. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Curiocity. We have our very own, Curiocity's very own little sister.
The one and only.
The only one.
The only.
Brooke Deliri Kane.
That's me.
Frost.
What?
Just kidding.
Okay, let's just add all of our names together.
She has a million names now. So it's been a hot minute. Brooke has obviously known about the podcast and the many iterations of it.
Yeah.
Since the
very beginning.
Yeah. And that was in 2019 when we first began. So
that's crazy.
It has.
And I have never been on the podcast.
Nope. It has been 5 years.
Quite the journey. It's funny because I was waiting for you to invite me and you were waiting for me to be like, I want to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
All these years, you and I were just playing this I
wonder what she'll
one day, I hope she'll say something.
We talked about it like a couple months ago and I was like, oh my God. Well, anyway, it was like miscommunication. I was like, I sent you
for
guys.
Years.
Well, yeah, but especially with Curiocity.
Yeah.
It was like, I sent the links. I was like, you guys should be on sometime. And you're like, yeah. You're like waiting for
would love to be.
Yeah, I'm like, schedule it. And you're like, schedule me. Anyway, but here she is.
Here I am.
Like
in
we
all
said,
my glory.
The one and only. Okay, so with this, I had you fill out some little questionnaires.
Yeah.
And it's just fun for me to see how people answer the questionnaires. It's not even so much about the questions.
Yeah.
And you chose a route.
It was definitely a route. I feel like it's the Brooke route. It was just
the Brooke route.
Yeah.
I read through some spelling mishaps.
Well, I had to do it twice too. And that was the second time around, I was like, she'll fix it.
Yes. So I know how her brain works. So I was like, okay, I know what she's saying. Yeah. Also, you're just funny. You're a funny gal.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you mentioned it because I was like, because I'm terrible at those things. Literally, I'll do anything to avoid
writing
and then answering questions about my life.
Yeah.
I'll do, which is again another reason why I probably haven't been on the podcast. I'm like,
it's
just nerve wracking. I don't even want to know myself. I don't know what's going on.
But people want to know you, and that's the point.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you told me, you were like, don't take it seriously. You can be funny. I'm like, okay, then I will be. I'm like, if I'm allowed, you're like, then that's what I'm going to choose.
I'm going to show my personality.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with your personality.
Let's start there.
You said that, and I know these things, but you're a Capricorn Sun for those who love astrology. Mm-hmm. Capricorn Sun, Taurus Moon, and Gemini Rising.
No, opposite.
What?
Taurus Rising, Gemini Moon.
Oh, I messed it up.
You did. And the rewrite.
I did.
But it's okay. I didn't notice. Carrie noticed. She's like, that's not. I was like, oh, it's not.
Wait, why do I? Because the boys are Taurus Moon.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
Adam and Spencer, Brooke's husband, are both Taurus Moon. Okay, so I messed it up. So Capricorn Sun.
Yeah.
Gemini Moon.
Yep.
Taurus Rising.
That's it. That you got it.
So Gemini Moon, that Okay, yeah, that's right.
That makes a lot more sense.
It does make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, and that making more sense, okay, how do you feel like they influence your personality and like day-to-day life?
I just feel like if anyone wants to know what I am like I literally tell them that, because it really just well-rounded. Like, I am Capricorn sun, so I'm very like things my way, kind of a loner, like kind of a like I don't even know, but it's so that's like one side of me, and like if you don't know me at all, that's like it's a side that you don't really know at first,
right?
My Taurus is very like I feel like that's very clear. I love beautiful
your rising.
things, which is my rising, and I just feel like that makes a lot of sense. That's what people see. Like they're definitely like, oh, you're outgoing, oh, you're bubbly, oh, like you like beautiful things, oh, you've got style, like whatever, and that's what people see.
You like comfort.
I like comfort, yeah, but like that's not really me. That's like the outside.
Yeah.
So then the moon is where my crazy is. Like
the Gemini.
It's just where, you know, the other me is lying below the surface and just waiting to pounce at any random moment.
Not only is the Gemini completely different from the other two signs, but the Gemini is like opposite of itself all the time.
Opposite, yeah. My Geminis are complete opposite human beings to each other. So my emotions are constantly...
Her emotions are crazy.
And then my Capricorn's trying to control all of them at the same time. And so, you know...
It's a doozy being in Brooke's astrology chart.
Being in my body is a whole thing, which is why I don't like answering questions, because all of them want to chat. All of them want to talk about...
They're all welcome here.
Okay. Good.
We say that people are multifaceted, like all the guests are multifaceted here, and maybe it just means we're multiple personalities.
Right. I think that's what it actually is. I feel like every human being just has multiple personalities.
Like, sorry, I have just like a million interests and a million personalities. I'm just going to call it multifaceted.
That's a cuter way of saying it.
More
it sounds
appropriate.
cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I prefer more aggressive terms. So let's just go with the aggressive terms for this show.
And that's who she is. Okay. What books are currently on your nightstand, and how have they influenced your recent pursuits on mindset?
Oh, on mindset?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, or mindset, like your different things that you're like pursuing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
How has it been affected by the books?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm reading all the fictions, naughty novels, fun novels. I'm in 2 different book clubs. Mm-hmm. So one book club is specifically just like for pleasure, like pleasure books.
It's called
Naughty Novels.
Naughty Novels.
And then I'm a part of another book club, which is called Book Club, which is very clear. Like everyone had like, it's actually different types of books, which is great. It's expanding my reading. So I'm not just reading trash books, which are great books, but
are those also fiction?
Sometimes like I mean, actually we haven't read anything that's not fiction, but we did do a historical fiction the other day. And that was like, I felt like I was at school and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not my jam.
It wasn't fun for you.
But a lot of them liked it. So anyway, that's expanding that. But what I'm reading right now, I'm reading the Hawthorne games.
Okay.
And also that's a whole series. And that's more of like a mystery, murder mystery, love triangle situation.
Okay.
Loving that vibes. It's kind of different from my norm. I know. I feel like you'd like them.
Yeah.
I bought all the books all at once. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So you can borrow them after this.
Okay.
And then the other one is Bride, which I've just started, which is my Naughty Novels book.
Okay.
And so excited about this one. This one is just like,
is it already naughty?
It's just good trash. Yes. Yes. If you're looking for a werewolf book, like the epilogue gets you right there.
Where you need to.
Yeah. At the beginning, you're like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. It's called Bride. Check it out.
Okay, that's good.
But the way it's like affected me is a few different ways. Like, first of all, when I started reading these naughty novels, I was like loving the way I feel. Like it's way better than binge watching TV, which is my other go-to. Mm-hmm. It feels really good for the brain, for the emotions, for everything. But it's also been really great for my sex life.
Tell us how.
Well, I mean,
you're getting turned on, basically.
Yeah, like I'm getting turned on. And honestly, like it's teaching me some things. I'm like, oh, they did that.
And I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Or like he says certain things and I'm like,
you should try saying
like, you should say something like this.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of expanded my sexual like
explorations.
Yes, exactly. So that's been great. Love that.
So Spencer's not complaining.
Spencer's not complaining. No, he loves all my book boyfriends. He's like, they teach her things.
Well, good.
And yeah, the last thing is just, some of these books, like these women are just so cool. Like they're either passionate about doing this, that, and the other, or in a lot of these fictions, like they're like weak at first, but then like go through this like transformation of like training and becoming these like badass women who can fight and like can handle themselves.
Yeah.
Basically, none of the books that I've read is the man saving the woman.
Yeah.
It's always the woman just like learning to save herself.
Clearly you're reading women authors.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did read one man, I feel like, one man author.
And how was that?
Brendan. I stopped reading it.
Oh, there it is.
It wasn't because it was a man. It was just more of like not my type of book. But anyway.
Yeah.
So it's been really like I've really been empowered to from those stories to like I just had my first Krav Maga lesson the other day.
You did.
I really just want to be like self-sufficient, independent. And in all these books, people aren't on their phones.
Yeah.
There's no one scrolling Instagram. And that's just like kind of something that I've loved too. It's like these people in these books are living life. They're not on their phones.
Yeah.
And so like, although I am reading a book, I'm not exactly living life either. It's still just kind of been an encouragement to be like, there's so much life to be had outside of our cell phones. So that's also my like anti-technology.
Well, it's like, it would be weird to write about that. Like, what is there to write about? And then she picked up her phone and scrolled for 2 hours.
Yeah, like, but that's reality. That's reality.
Yeah.
And that's like sad. Like books are a better reality and they're fiction than our reality is because we're all just wasting our time scrolling books. Or scrolling books.
Scrolling books?
Well, I do that.
On what? Goodreads?
Goodreads. Yeah. And book talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I take all the social media and just use it as a book app instead.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Well, I wanted to talk about the self-sufficient things.
Okay.
So you said you're doing like Krav Maga. So share some of the self-sufficient hobbies you've been exploring and then how the journey impacted your relationship with technology and modern conveniences.
I mean, the world is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't love the world.
Yeah.
I love the earth.
Yeah.
I don't love the world and what's going on. And so, with these books and with everything going on and just my whole, like ever since I went to Europe, was it
2 or 3 years ago?
Last year or 2 years ago?
Well, which one? I mean,
I don't remember. When I went to
with Spencer, not London.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. So it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I came back from that trip changed because I was going to Europe with multiple plans to make this content and that content and these photos and that. Dude, and I got there and I was like, I like literally was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like I literally could not make myself do it. I
like
couldn't do it.
Getting depressed even thinking about it.
Yeah. And then I was like feeling like icky because I'm like, but should I be? Like, I'm here. When else am I going to do this? And I'm like, and so then it really icked me out about social media in general. I got home and I was just like, this is just like, why are we doing this? Why aren't we just enjoying our lives? So that's what kind of began the whole no technology. What would life be like without it? I started kind of reading books around that time too.
Yeah.
I picked up my first naughty book going to the beach that year and I was like, let's just try it out.
Yeah.
In that, it kind of like my self-sufficient hobbies came later. Like I only recently realized that that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do. That's what I was getting interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only realized that our last beach trip.
Yeah.
And so the self-sufficient hobbies came from me being like, I want to enjoy my life and not be on my phone. And then that just came then, the whole world and politics and all of that I'm just like seeing everywhere that I was just like, whatever happens in the world and the Microsoft just happened the other day and the outage. And I'm just like, I have no idea what the F is going to happen to our world at any given moment.
Yeah.
And it made me just be like, I really want to learn how to like take care of myself no matter what happens. It's kind of doomsday mindset.
A little bit.
But I like to think it's more like
more trad wife.
Yeah. More like farm wife. Like I'm just more wanting to like lean back into being grounded and feeling like a part of the planet and part of life, a part of the experience of being a human being.
Yeah.
And Yeah. So all the things that I've been trying to do is like, you know, at some point I really want to garden, but I haven't gotten there yet. Like the passion's like there in the back of my mind, but it's not like happening right now. Obviously book reading was a big part of it, taking all of the time that I did spend watching TV and Netflix and all these things to now books.
Yeah. Do you even follow any like homestead account? You do probably.
Honestly, I don't even know who
you don't even follow. You just, it's just your like For You, like when you're scrolling.
I literally just look at my For You. I don't even look at it. So all of my friends have like, I don't know what's going on in my friends' lives at all. For social media is not to hang out with my friends. Yeah.
It's for you to figure out how to survive in the wilderness.
Yeah. It's just so interesting to me.
Yeah.
And a small part of me like hopes that might kind of happen.
Yeah.
That we can just go back to less technology, less, you know, moving forward in that way. But yeah, so like learning, like I want to go camping. I want to learn how to like cook things on a fire. I want to learn how to, you know, sew and knit. And these are things that I've kind of learned a little bit already.
Right.
I've learned a little bit of everything. And it's just more me like leaning into it some more and being like, I'm doing this on purpose though, because I really don't want to do anything else. I don't want to learn computer stuff. I don't want to learn other things. I want to learn like things that are hands-on, I guess. Like a lot more hands-on, a lot more like just like physical work.
Adam and you have that in common.
Yeah.
Like big time. I mean, not that I don't so much, but I do enjoy like technology. Like for me, when I go on vacations, like one of the things I look forward to most is like making funny little like TikToks and like whatever. I don't feel pressure to do it though. I feel like I do understand where you're coming from with that like feeling of, oh, like I'm here, I need to take these photos and do this. I'm like, my main thing, it's not necessarily about like where I am, the location. It's just like with the people I'm with. Yeah. More so like the ideas of the content. And that's like really fun for me to like have all these people together with me and I get to do it. I like make them do TikToks with me.
Yeah.
It's not so much.
I love being a part of TikToks. Yeah. I don't like creating
You don't
them.
want the pressure of like putting them out and whatever. Yeah. No, I get it. And so all that like kind of leads us to our next question, which is your one woman show vibes. Yeah. So like what new careers or skills are you currently pursuing? And how do you manage the learning curves associated with becoming a one woman show?
Because I feel like I am just a control freak. Obviously, that's the answer to this show. That's the whole point.
She's a Capricorn
That's the moral of the
sun.
story. I'm a control freak. Yeah, I mean, ever since doing music with you, and we looked for a photographer, and there was no good mother effing photographer anywhere who got what we wanted, the vision, the everything. That's when that began. I was like, okay, obviously.
We had a stylist the first like week we ever did music together, which was a very long time.
Stylist?
Remember for like a photo shoot, like we had people trying to style us?
I don't remember.
Oh, or originally.
Okay,
like the OG.
Yeah.
And that's another example of like, that was terrible.
Oh yeah. And also they tried to turn me blonde without letting me know.
Yeah.
And so like that was terrifying too. And like terrible hair experiences and people doing a bad job with hair, bad job with style, bad job photography,
graphics,
and us trying to pay people to do it and paying people big bucks for that shit. And I was like, no, I'm done. Yeah. So I learned how to do photography. You know, you learned to do, videography stuff. We ended up actually doing a video ourselves, which I didn't even watch it. You sent it to me the other day. I didn't watch it because I was like terrified.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was terrified.
It could have been worse.
I was gonna say, I remember it still being not as bad as
I didn't color grade at all, so that's pretty terrible. So it looks like just raw footage. Like
but that can be its own vibe.
But yeah,
honestly.
Anyway, I could like put like some filters on it now, and it would be like a fine little clip. But anyway, but it's true. Like we like did a lot of stuff ourselves.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff ourselves, and that's when we got our better content. That's when we got our better things and doing our own social media and talking to social media people and them trying to do our social media, and our social media like following went like way down, no engagement. And I'm just like, okay, I'm so tired of paying people for shit that I can do better. Yeah. And that I do better. Yeah. So that just began
so true.
Like as soon as I realized that someone can't do a better job than me, that's when I decide that I'm going to learn to do it myself.
Yeah.
And so now the things that I'm kind of trying to get into, and actually This is not because people aren't out there that do a good job hair. There are a lot of people that I actually love that do hair really well that I'm like, I could do this. But actually styling hair, there's a lot of people that I feel like you pay people big bucks to style hair and it's trash.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always loved to do with my friends, for my friends. So hair is a new thing that I might be like dipping my toe in, might go to cosmetology school.
Yeah.
I always want to say cosmopology. Cosmopology. Because of cosmopolitans.
Yeah.
So it just, anyway, I just want to be drinking some cosmopolitans while also going to cosmetology school.
Yeah.
That's my goal. No, I'm
I
just
like
kidding.
it. I can see it for you.
Obviously.
The drunk hairstylist.
That's me. Get your hair done by me today. Just kidding. I haven't learned yet. So, no. So hair is a new thing that I'm getting into. I did start a design, like fashion, my own line.
Yeah.
I learned how to do some
macrame.
Yeah. I couldn't even think of what it was called. That was last year, Brooke. I made one dress, one fit, one thing in a night. In one night, I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I had the vision.
It was like a fever dream.
It was, and you ended up wearing it.
Yep, it was my outfit for the Cannes Lion Awards in Cannes, France. Which when we won
huge.
Our very first gold.
Yeah,
I wore it on stage. Yeah, it was so sick. And also then later on in the week, I wore it to the French like Riviera beaches.
Yeah,
So it's multi-use.
And the goal was to continue, and I might still continue. There's a dream to do more designing. There's a dream to thrift shop for like all my friends. I'd love to be a stylist, but specifically thrifted clothes. That's something that I've like always learned and cultivated, and like still learning from just other people and watching other people and style and how that's changing. And Vogue is my Bible.
Yeah.
And so these are all like the little interests that I'm kind of like dipping my toe in. The design stuff has taken a slumber for a while.
Yeah.
But now hair possibility.
Yeah. When I was reading that, like your one woman show, the way you described it, you're like, because like I realized I could do it better than people.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, it like made me realize that that's like what we both have done.
Yeah. And at one point I was even like I was helping brand people. So there was a point where I was doing photography, branding, styling.
Yeah. Designing.
And now designing and like, and still like without saying I was doing hair, I was still like, I would fix up hair, fix up makeup, whatever.
Yeah.
I was doing that all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so now I just want to go to hair just to finish it off, just so I could really be a one-woman show. If you ever hire me to do photography or one of those things, you can get all the rest of them.
It's so true. And I mean, I feel the same way, not as much as you. And like you could get hired for a wedding and I'd be like, for what?
The end.
Literally like for all the things. Like you literally were a wedding day planner.
Yeah.
Coordinator. I guess you would call it more of a coordinator.
So yeah, for
Kelsey's wedding,
you're
a coordinator, and then you've done hair.
I did
helped
hair
with makeup.
Or no, I didn't help with makeup at the wedding.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
I literally did hair. I did the day of. I helped with like I kind of like
decor.
helped style her even a little bit.
Right.
Just gave advice,
but just not even just for that wedding. Like for anything, I'd be like, what? Like there's literally all the things possible that I would be like, oh, are you doing photos for a wedding? Like, if you're like, oh, I got booked for a wedding, I would literally be like, for what? I honestly would assume photography.
Well, yeah,
because that's what you've been hired to do more often. Because like mostly you've helped friends.
Yeah, I just help people.
But like again, you help better than people who do it
professionally.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. I feel like I do.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, well, now how do I get paid to do this?
Yes, that's the struggle of our lives, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know we have, so the Curious Cuties are multifaceted, I would say, but multi-talented. And then a lot of times it's like almost confusing because you're like, so what do I say I do? Or like who I am or whatever. And especially now, like with social media, that's where that like pressure comes from.
Yeah.
Because if there was no social media, there would be no like bios. You have to like write like who you are and like why someone should care about your page or who you are or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I just do a bunch of things really well. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. Like, I seem complicated, but really, I'm very talented.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how to get people to pay me for that, but
no, yeah, that's the struggle of our life.
that's a struggle of life. And that's why I actually I hate the entrepreneur like label.
Yeah.
Yes, because everyone's calling themselves entrepreneurs.
You're like, well, I for sure am.
Yeah. But I just don't.
Am I allowed to call myself an entrepreneur?
Right, because I've not been like,
I don't have a business.
I'm good at all of them, but I've not been paid to do any of them.
Facts.
So, am I allowed to call myself?
You've been paid for some of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we get older, we just have to ask for more money. That's really it.
That's true.
But okay, speaking of what we do and make money, what's it like hosting the evening show at Nashville radio station? You know, Yoko.
Yeah.
Which I do as well. But you do the evening. So talk to us about that. Any memorable moments or challenges?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really love it. I think it's, again, going back to being multifaceted and starting out in the industry, and you and I just like
doing everything.
And having interest in a lot of things. So having a lot to say.
Yeah.
And learning how to say it interestingly enough that people care to listen.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize that just being myself on the radio was going to do so well.
Yeah.
And it really does. And I love to just be on there, and I talk about, and like my shows are, you know, Monday is New Music Monday, Tuesday and Thursdays is Tea and Trends, which I love those days because that really does feel like my show, like what I've created. And those are, you know, I talk about what's trending in fashion, what's trending in cocktails, what's trending in general, what is like buzzing in the world.
Love that.
And so I love to be able to just like pretend like I'm talking to my friends on the radio. And I literally do. I get very personable, I guess you'd say. I'm not very professional on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm very like, okay, bestie, so this is what we're doing and this is what I'm saying. And I know you have this opinion, but like, don't come for me because this is what I think. But like, I like literally pretend like I'm talking
it's your talk
to
show.
A friend.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And someone the other day told me that they listened to my show. And I was like, what?
Aww.
They're like, I recognize your voice. I'm like, what?
Oh, that's fun.
I know, it was really cool.
You hadn't known them before?
No.
Cute.
Yeah, it was a really sweet moment. I was like, I love doing that, and it's kept me from becoming the hermit that the rest of me is trying to become. It's helped me stay current in the time, and my love for beautiful things, my love for fashion, my love for change.
Yeah.
And the changing of seasons, the changing of what's trending, like that does keep me in the world when I could definitely just run away to a forest somewhere and never talk or, you know, do technology ever again.
Yeah. I love it. And right now I'm doing the morning show because normally Leah does the morning show, but she's out on maternity leave. And so right now the radio station is just us. Us. Like,
which is entertaining.
Which is so funny. And I mean, and we're doing, if you listen to it round the clock, if you listen to her show, my show, like we're maybe on Monday we'll say some of the same things, but mostly like you're getting different stories, you're getting different things. So it's like super well-rounded. And it's just really funny. Like right now we're doing obviously a podcast, but like radio right now is our main gig.
It is.
Like it's our main jobs.
Yeah.
And we both do photography.
Yeah.
We
could both help you with branding.
It's so true. It's kind of crazy. Like I don't know how we haven't like partnered more in the other, like collaborated. It's just like hard. It's hard enough to get jobs out there.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like hard to be like, I have a bee shooter or like whatever it is. It's like
no one cares enough for
Nashville's a hard city. I'm not gonna lie.
It is a really hard city to. That's why we had to have all these interests. That's why we have to like create new careers and hobbies every day because everyone else is doing the same thing.
Everyone really is doing the same thing.
And also no one wants to pay anyone for it. Which again, maybe I'm the problem. Am I the problem?
Why?
Because I'm trying to
you're
become
not paying
a
for it?
one-woman show
Yeah.
and I'm learning it myself and I would rather do it myself than pay someone to do it.
We are part of the problem, but we are also the solution. And that's on that.
Oh, love that.
Okay.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. All right. You did talk about like thrifting and things like that.
Yeah.
So you do photography, you do thrifting for friends. And do you feel like those careers, if you will, those like hobbies, passions, do they complement each other? Do you find that they would ever go together?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
They do complement each other. And so I'm like, wow, I could create a business. I could do this for something. Like,
yeah.
Everything in my life is creating one big, like I'm like seeing it create a sculpture. And I'm like, wait, it's all working together somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, definitely see that all these things that I'm learning is like
Passionate
just
about.
part of the same. Well, okay. At the end of the day too, I love beautiful things.
Yeah.
I obviously love beautiful things and I'm good at making things even more beautiful. Like I'm good at accentuating the beauty in things.
Yeah.
So that does be that do be doing photography, that's styling. That's my love for the earth and helping like cultivate the beauty in the earth and, and in people and in health and in everything. It's the same core thing, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's just like, and it's like the same core thing that I love and that I'm good at.
Yeah.
And so it's all just, I'm just building a house. I'm just building, like I created the kitchen and, the bathroom and the closet and everything's just coming together.
Yeah.
And one day I hope to see this house built and be like,
beauty.
now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know what I can call this.
Right.
And people can pay me for it.
She's multi-talented. Okay. So let's talk about the clothing line that you have, like one dress.
One dress. Just one. And a purse.
One outfit.
Which
and
you
a purse.
have.
Yes, I have. I mean, I have both of them.
Yeah. I need to get those samples back if I ever choose to like create other
you
ones.
do. So what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, you were the inspiration. No,
I'm her muse.
You were for that dress for sure. But I do. So why is it? Okay, I need to go to the beach more often, obviously, because every time I go to the beach,
changes you.
Like it changes my life. Yeah. I always come back wanting to do something new. So it was actually last year's beach trip that I was scrolling on Pinterest. I was really into fashion at that point.
And that's when the Matoaka stuff was like popping off too.
It was popping off. Yeah. And what was really big in the fashion world, but not yet on the streets was like netting, was a lot of like netting clothing, which is like a macrame. You do that by macrame.
And then like crochet was like really...
crochet. Well, crochet is like more intense. Like you're like, it's like smaller.
Right.
Whereas like you use like bigger type of string to do, and you use your hands to do
the macrame.
And I love to do things with my hands. So I prefer that over like teeny tiny detail things.
Yeah.
And I just like, I looked at it and I looked at these pieces of clothing that were yet to be popular on the streets. And I was like, I could create this.
Yeah.
Now. Like I could go home and do this now. And so I was like, why not?
Yeah.
So I literally just went home.
She surprised me.
I went home and I knew what I wanted to create first. And I was like, as I was creating it, or I don't remember if it was before I created it or as I was creating it, I was just, your birthday was coming up. But I knew you were going to be going to the cans.
Yeah.
To Can.
Can Lion. Yeah.
To Cans.
Lion. Yeah, that's how it's spelled.
To Can.
Yeah.
And so that was the inspo. The inspo was just seeing it and being like, oh, I could do this first. I could do this. Well, I didn't want to spend the money on buying a netted shirt that would cost me $1,000.
Did you make yourself one?
I made that dress.
Okay, but you never
I did
made...
later.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I did make a shirt for myself.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So I guess I do have
like a
two
black
things.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw it and I was like, this is so high fashion. This is such a cool piece.
Yeah.
You can use it for everything. So basically, actually, I wanted to buy a piece for myself. I wanted to be able to buy something. And I actually looked online for it and I was like, I can't find this anywhere.
Yeah.
Can't find this clean, minimalistic, but real, like real feeling, like type of design anywhere. And when I did find it and I went on Pinterest and actually clicked on the thing, it was like, like $2,000 or whatever. And I was like,
that's so crazy.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
So then that's when I went home and just started creating myself. And I was like, wait, I could actually do this for a lot of people. I could not just do this one design, but designs that I haven't even seen out there yet. Like I see them all in my head and I know people would love them.
Yeah.
And then people loved your fit.
Oh my God, they loved it. They're obsessed.
And like, even with the fit, I came over and I had the idea, like I kind of knew what I wanted you to do underneath it. Because you could wear it as a cover up, but you could also wear it as like a styling piece on top of clothing.
Yeah.
And so we did that together as well.
Yeah. So it was your design and I was also styled by you.
Yeah.
For the event. Yeah.
Right.
That's so
cool. Yeah. So you were my muse.
Yeah.
And not wanting and not
that and the ocean.
And not being able to find those things anywhere, find what was in my head, not being able to find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, well, then no one's done this. So I guess I just will.
Yeah. Again, it's the theme.
Yeah.
It really is the theme. Okay. You mentioned believing in the magic of fairy tales more than a god.
Mom, please don't listen to this part.
Oh my God. Hello. This whole she listens to my podcast.
I know, but this is why you're you and I'm me. Like I have stayed away from talking about the religious stuff and you started with it. You were like, let's get into it.
Yeah.
And
I was like, everything else on the peripheral, it's like people may or may not disagree with me, but I know for sure people will disagree with me about this thing. So let me start with it.
Yeah.
I didn't want people to find out like trailing along the way. I'm like, you're either with me or not. So
yeah,
that's how, it's my method. But okay, so let's talk about that. So elaborate on that like belief and how it shapes your worldview and daily life.
So it was meant to be funny.
And it's funny.
Haha.
Hello.
But, but it is kind of true in my life right now that I was actually just talking. There's like two parts of this statement. Because one is that I believe in magic. And the other is that I don't really believe in God right now. So those are two separate things. That I just combined as like a funny thing, being like, I believe in like fictional magic more than I believe in God, which is kind of true because this goes into the whole witch conversation too. You and I have always felt drawn to magic and the earth and witchy things and making potions and all of that. And, as we've grown up and every Halloween we just get weirder and weirder. And then we realize, wait, we don't have to do this only on Halloween.
Yeah.
Like this is what we love.
And it became our lifestyle.
It became our life. And we're like, wait, this feels so right. And having discussions with my husband about, the word witch and how like I like calling myself a witch, but he doesn't want me to call myself a witch.
Yeah.
And he'll let me do whatever I want. But this is a conversation that we had. And I was like, but like if women have been called a witch, have been called witches, whether they are or not, it's their whole lives. Like the generations of women being called witches and being burned because of that, and not even being necessarily witch or thinking that they are a witch themselves.
Right.
Why can't I use the word that people have called me my whole life and generations of women this when I didn't ask them to call me that? Why can't I use it the way that I want to?
Yeah.
Like I use it and I find it endearing for me.
Yeah.
And then became the whole conversation of like, well, you don't actually believe you could do magic. I'm like, well, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the question of like, even fairies out in the world and, mermaids, like I like to believe that they could be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it is more like alien-esque. Like I believe like it is easier for me to believe that those things are out there than this God that created everything, that cares. It feels so personal that it feels such like a huge thing, like God, right?
Yeah.
And yet so personal that I'm like, that sounds like something we created.
Right.
That sounds like something that humans created so that we wouldn't go insane.
Yeah.
And we would be like, oh, there's something taking care of us. Like we're not going to die.
Yeah.
But like fairies and stuff, like that doesn't sound like something we've created. It doesn't
sounds uncontrollable.
It sounds uncontrollable. It sounds more whimsical, more possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
Smaller and yet doing its own thing. Like they have their
Yeah.
own lives, are doing their own thing. Like
Yeah.
to believe that there's a God out there that wants to deal with us and created all of us and then is just kind of watching. And
Yeah.
like, I'm like, I don't know what to think about that. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
doesn't sound interesting, first of all.
Yeah.
And second of all, I just don't know. It just sounds like something we created.
Yeah. And this isn't like news to our listeners. Like these are things, obviously, I've talked about as well. Like
Yeah.
not believing in a singular deity,
Yeah.
but believing in the mysticism of like what could be and what like we don't know. That's why we changed this podcast name to Curiosity.
Yeah.
You know, Curiosity, because that is spirituality.
Yeah.
Like deconstruct was my like spirituality in a way at one point. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like I was just going through a phase, mom, you know? And now it's like, it's curiosity. It always has been. That's the through line. And curiosity like focuses on things that we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
And even a deity would be more interesting if people acted like they weren't sure.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I don't know, there could be.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well tell me what
do you
makes
think it
you
is?
like think there is, and
Yeah.
like, you know, all these different things versus like, no, there is, and you're wrong if it like you don't believe this is like that's uninteresting.
It's uninteresting and it just turns me off. I'm like, okay, I'd rather
Yeah.
not talk about it then. Like it's like politics. It's like, okay, well, I'd rather not talk about it then.
It's just
like,
really not all that interesting. And yeah, like I am with you with the more like alien-esque, like what we don't know, and different cultures and different times would have considered like fairies as aliens.
Yeah.
You know, and they have had like experiences with like extraterrestrial things, and in like lore they would call it a fairy.
Yeah.
They're like a fairy like was mischievous, and anyway, there's all things like that, and I think that's like
Yes.
a little bit conspiracy theorists over here.
Yeah.
But we're just like, conspiracies are just fun.
Well, okay. Well, also,
I don't base my life off of them. They're just fun.
and maybe it's like there is like a little bit of stories here and there, and of these other creatures and
Mhm.
whatever else that makes like magic mystical and
Mhm.
you know whatever. When it comes to God,
Mhm.
like a greater God deity, right?
Mhm.
We don't have stories other than like the Bible and like different religions, but
Yeah.
like that's more about, you know, Jesus, you know.
Yeah.
We don't have like,
It's about like a human.
yeah, we don't know about the deity. Like we're
Yeah.
just creating our own versions of like, well, this thing happened, it must have been created. This thing happened, it must have been
A deity.
done by something that we can't see,
Yeah.
you know? So maybe it's a belief and faith thing that like, I don't see it, so I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just does seem more like something that humans created for their own sake.
Agreed.
Whereas, you know, little creatures that are magical and fly and or swim in the ocean
Yeah.
and whatever, like those are things that we've seen in history and different old folklore and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then there's things like power of the mind as well. Things that like a lot
Yeah.
of people don't fully believe in until they get out of structured religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even like quantum physics. and,
Yeah.
like that realm of spirituality that's been proven by science. It's like it kind of goes alongside magic
Yeah.
because you can't
Yes.
see it.
Yeah. And maybe it's like, maybe it's all the same thing. Maybe magic is God, you know,
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
and that's why when people ask me, especially like my Christian friends,
Yeah.
they're going to listen. They're going to be like, what, bro?
And they won't
Um,
listen to this podcast probably.
Oh, well, you
They
never know.
might. For you. That's why I bring in guests.
You're like sneaking your way into people's lives.
Yes.
But you know, I tell them, I just tell people that I do believe
Mhm.
in a God,
Yeah.
just because it's easier, and I just don't care to deal with people's questions or
Yeah.
their uncomfortability. I just don't want to deal with it.
No, yeah.
This is why I haven't been on this podcast, because I just don't care to tell people what I think and
Yeah.
what I believe, because it's none of their effing business.
Yeah. But here I am asking the
But
questions.
here we are. And you guys are getting a real look into like what I think and believe. But I tell people that I believe in a deity, and
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, what is magic?
Yeah.
What is, you know, the energy between you and me? Like
Mhm.
what is the universe? Like you can call that God.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like right now I don't really like calling it God, because I obviously have my own trauma there.
Mm-hmm.
And people's closed-mindedness around what God is makes me not want to call anything that.
Yeah.
But in other people's beliefs and whatever else, like you can consider, you know, the energy between us and hope and like just these feelings, this magic, the science behind all of it, like that being God, like that being what God is to them.
Yeah.
And I definitely believe in that. I definitely believe in the magic between the energy between us, like trees talking to each other and the magic that I believe that I have, which I was telling Spencer the other day. So actually it was that I was talking to my friend the other day because we were talking about magic and we watched like a movie that had like some weird witchy stuff in it. And I was like, yeah, like I don't believe that I have like magic, but I believe I have magic. And I think it comes from also some people are more tuned in to, you know, when they do speak something out, when they say something like they manifest it, whether they mean to or not.
Yeah.
Some people have just more of that energy, have more of that power behind them. And me, you, some of my friends, like we do have that. And that's kind of the people who are more witchy or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas some people who really don't understand that or like look at me sideways when I like say like, oh yeah, I kind of believe I have magic. They don't have the same power behind their words. They're not really, they don't
like, sounds like a you problem.
Sounds like you're sad that you don't have magic.
Yeah.
Maybe you should like figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like some people are attached more to it and some people just which is why if anyone says anything around me, like negative or whatever, like, you know, I do a little dance. Like
she throws it off of her.
I throw it off of me because I know if you're around me, things stick. Like, if you say something around me, it'll manifest. Like, and whether that's on purpose or not, like it is part of it. So that's the kind of magic I believe in. I definitely know that that's real because I see it all the time, every day with you, with me, with my friends. There are some people who are just, be careful if you point, like be careful if they point at you because they just manifest things. They might not mean to, but the movie Practical Magic, like when they're kids, like they're like pointing and they're like, you know, I hope you get chicken pox. And they're so scared. Yeah. Because basically what she just did there was she is a witch in this movie. And in this movie, it is a lot more like pretend magic. Yeah. But that's why I'm like, but I kind of believe in that pretend magic because it's very real because she pointed and they believed that they were going to get chickenpox and they ended up later. Yeah, I got chickenpox. But like, that's how I feel too. Like I can't just like do that to people because I feel like I could manifest that into people's lives. Right. Or you could or whatever. So the whole cursing and like witches cursing and whatever, like might not be on purpose, just so you know. If you know someone who's very good at manifesting, it might not be on purpose things that happen, but be careful what you do and say around them. Yeah. Because what you say in the world manifests. And some people just have more of that power than other people. Yep. And I feel like you can gain more of that by connecting to the earth and really knowing what kind of power you have and hold. But anyway.
No. That being said, speaking of the earth, I want to talk about, she's dead.
I'm like, this is so much. It's crazy.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Need a breather?
No.
Okay.
I just need a sip.
Grab a drink. Okay.
Pretend alcohol.
Pretend, yeah. Non-alcoholic or cherry juice over here. Okay. How do you integrate natural healing practices into your life? Like you're talking about nature. Any specific routines or remedies you swear by? Tell us, nature girl.
I mean, I love essential oils. I use essential oils for everything. Plants heal. So it depends on what ailment you have, you know? Like I just had an eye thing and I swear I dealt with it so much better than it could have been because I used lavender around my eyes and the pores and I feel like it like helps with bacteria and that's what it does. Like just like using plants for what they do, like teas and herbal things. And, you know, my friend's been staying at her house and she's had, you know, tummy issues the past few days and I gave her some essential oils and like that, it was, she was better. And I'm just like, the earth heals, you know, medicine and pills and these things that we think that we should take. Like it's not what's healing you. It's, you know, obviously it's just putting a Band-Aid on something that needs to be healed. It's not actually like getting to the core. And I feel like it's amazing how plants and the earth is what heals. It
Yeah.
doesn't just put a Band-Aid on things. It cures.
Goes to the root.
Yeah, it cures things. It can cure cancer. Like instead of just like medicine on top of it, it can cure these things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love like all like natural foods and, you know, farmers market, Whole Foods, like getting the things that are around you too, because you're in the same environment. So those things,
seasonal, local,
like all of that. Bone broth is the magic stew.
Yeah.
Every day.
I mean, that's very witchy.
I know.
Bone broth.
It is really
just
witchy.
think about it. It's bone broth
and adding extra collagen, extra little bones.
Like, that's witchy.
It's so witchy.
That is what a witch has in her. What is it called?
In her
cauldron.
Cauldron. Yeah. In her cauldron. And if we gathered all these things in their actual natural forms, because even then, like, you know, turmeric, if you got it in its natural form, it's going to look very different than like a powder that you just add to your soup.
Yeah.
Right. But like, imagine it all in its natural form. Like you add
like
turmeric,
ligaments.
You add these actual bones to water.
Yeah.
You add, you know, sticks, because different sticks, like cinnamon sticks and whatever else, like ginger, if you just added that the way it was, like it would look like you're creating this crazy, like witchy
soup.
cauldron soup. Yeah. Yeah. But that is what would heal you. If you're sick, you want chicken noodle soup, right? Well, that's what I'm going to make you. And I'm going to make you a great version because it's going to have all the best Whole Foods version.
Yeah. If there's
Not
somebody
just-
who's like not believing or is like weird about witchy things, and you're not allowed to drink bone broth.
You're not allowed to have my special healing chicken soup when you're sick.
Yeah. Oh.
Well,
it's
I'll give it
great.
to you anyways.
Yeah.
If you really need it, I'll give it to you anyways. I'm a nice witch. I'm not a bad witch.
All right. So you identified yourself as a social media illiterate.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate maintaining connections in today's digital age? Like if somebody wants to be social media illiterate like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what advice?
I don't have friends. No, I'm kidding. I do have friends.
The friends must know though.
The friends do know. And that's what's so cool. I've actually, so my whole life since social media, I've had a hard time because my friends have been like, well, text me, or why aren't you responding? Or, you know,
send memes.
Yeah,
like,
send
whatever.
memes. Oh God, people sending memes into group chat. I hated that season.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the worst. God. And now people just don't expect me to respond, which is amazing. Like my friends finally get it.
Yeah.
And even my new friends, before they even, like they just, I guess like there was no one like me whenever social media first happened, because everyone was just happy to be on social media.
Yeah.
But
enough people are burnt out now that there's more
and now
people
there are
like
more people
you.
who are burnt out, so they get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people were just so excited at the beginning that they didn't get it. And now my friends really understand. It's not that I don't love you. If you want to see me, come to my house.
Yeah.
Like call me. I answer. Well, I don't always answer phone calls, but like if I get a phone call, I will call you back.
Yeah.
I won't necessarily text you back, but I'll call you back because I'd rather know what you want quickly and just get it done with. And I just know that we're not going to be saying, hi, what's up? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So yeah, the way that I make friends and is honestly just like going out into the world. Like being a radio host has been great because my job is very social. So I get to meet people through doing that. And that's how I create new friendships. And honestly, it's a lot of people who are on socials, who are more like social based human beings.
Right.
Because radio is about that, like about people who are famous on TikTok or whatever else. So that's how I've like created my friends. But then it's just like, just having more intentional time with people and having intentional like phone calls with people. But even then, just like on the phone, I always just planned like, well, I'm going to be going to coffee shop today to work. Like, you want to come with me? And it's just so nice. And book clubs. Yep. Having an interest, having like a singular interest that everyone else has, you know, it's so nice. And we don't have to talk about, we don't have to catch up on everything, you know, like sometimes when you have friends, like, and you have best friends, like it takes a lot of energy. You love it and you get refueled, but it's also a lot to have to talk through everything in your life. So tell me about this in your life. Tell me about your job. Tell me about da-da-da. But having something that's just a singular passion that you all like, that
talking about,
and that's like kind of the only thing you really talk about.
Yeah.
It's nice to have friends in your life that are specific about that one interest you have. And you don't have to catch up on
Everything.
Right.
Yeah. You can actually just enjoy the conversation for what it is. It doesn't have to be anything more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not as draining because you're just talking about something that you both like. And so it's just fueling.
It's funny. You're reminding me Adam said something similar.
Yeah.
In an episode, like several episodes ago. And I was kind of wondering what he meant by it. But now I think I'm understanding he's meaning like, it's nice to have friends where you just have specific conversation. Like it doesn't have to be about everything.
Yeah.
Just as specific.
Yeah. It just takes a lot less energy.
Yeah.
And you just get refueled. Side note for everyone who's listening, me and Adam are like the same person. Like we're very similar. He's a lot more heady than I am, like verbally, I guess. He's like saying all these words and I'm like, simplify it. But otherwise, like our energy stuff, we're very similar.
Yeah.
And like you and Spencer are energy wise a lot more similar in the way that you like to experience the world.
Yeah.
So we married each other.
Yeah. Like a similar energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think people would say that either of us are like, any of us are similar.
No, yeah.
No, people would be like, what?
They'd be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
But like, once you know each of us, like energetically, yeah, it makes sense.
It's like a deeper rooted thing.
Yeah.
It's like how we do life in our own bodies.
Yes.
It's very similar.
Yes.
So you wouldn't know.
Well,
you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't get it, but like you probably would actually. Like,
probably. If we talked about it long enough.
You would. Okay, so you talked about, you mentioned that you are an opinionated, outgoing introvert. So how do you balance that with your like various public facing roles, like being a radio host?
Well, I actually use that to my benefit.
Yeah.
I really do. It's hard sometimes in friendships to be that personality, to have so many opinions about pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But it's great on the radio.
Yeah.
Because it keeps people entertained because they'll be listening and they'll hear me say something. They'll be like, what the fuck? Like, they'll be like, what did she just say? But it keeps people listening. And whereas, with friendships, it's a different story. It's sometimes like I have to learn how to control that side of me around some friends or around certain people. And
like that side of you, like opinionated?
Yeah, the strong opinionated. I said opinionated, outgoing.
Yeah, outgoing.
So it's an opinionated that's also passionate. It's like a passionate opinion type of thing, which it can be a lot.
Yeah.
And I have to like in person and with friendships and in scenarios, like learning the self-control of like when to shut up, how to shut up. That's been something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
But the part of it that everyone would be like, wait, but introverted?
Yeah. It's
because again, I don't I could not talk to anybody my whole life and just like whatever and just go through my having my own judgments, my own opinions, my own passions silently to myself. And I would be so happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do life on my own.
You're like, you don't have to know my opinions, but that's also part of my job.
But if I'm going to talk, they're going to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's just who I am. That's who I am on the inside. It's really that. Who I am on the inside is who I am on the outside. And I don't really know how to change that to like stop doing it.
Yeah.
So radio, it works really well with people. It can be a hit or miss. And with me, I just get to live in my own world. Like I love to be by myself, introverted, but if I go out into the world, I am outgoing. I'll talk a lot. Or I won't. Sometimes I don't like talk, but I'll have opinions. I'll have things to say. And that's just who I am. Yeah. That's just what I do.
Yep. It's true. It is who she is. We're similar in that. I don't think I'm as opinionated as you.
And I don't talk as much as you.
Yeah. I think, I talk that much like in public. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'd say we're both outgoing introverts.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes across a little differently.
Yeah.
For each of us, but we're very similar.
Yeah. I mean, again,
you'd be hard pressed to find like, if you're just meeting us, like our dissimilarities, I guess.
People, it is weird because I remember whenever you made your own friend group and then I finally started hanging out with those friends, like Max and Kelsey were like, it's weird.
Like you guys are so
it's weird
alike.
how similar you are.
Yeah.
Which it is. But then the more you get to know us, the more you do see the differences.
Right. And it's like when we were in a career together too, it's like we we felt like we had to harp so hard on our differences to feel like individuals.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a weird, that was a strain on our relationship in its own sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then also realizing on the other side of that no, we are individuals. Like, we don't have to work hard at being individuals. Like, we actually just are.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine how twins find their own identity. That must be very, very difficult.
Oh, absolutely.
Feeling like a different person. Like, if you're at an event and I'm not there, I had to learn, like, it's like my presence is missed.
Yeah.
You know, just because Brooke's there doesn't mean like people aren't missing me.
Right.
You know, like that took a minute to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, you know what? I have my own thing going on.
Yeah.
Can't imagine like how a twin would feel. Be like, my face is there. Like, my face is there.
Even maybe my clothes, if they like borrow clothes, which is why you and I never borrowed clothes.
No.
Because we're like, no, you got your
something has
clothes.
to be different.
Even if our style is the same. You have your clothes, I have mine.
Yes.
We could even have the same tank top, but you can't take my tank top.
Right. Yours
like,
has a stain and mine doesn't, or vice versa. Like, that's yours.
That's yours and this is mine. Yeah. I was just thinking, I was like, well, we say that we're twin flames.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why people think we're twins. I feel like it's ingrained in us. We do have that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious. I was like, are twins naturally twin flames?
I don't think
Probably not.
so.
It's like the one thing that keeps them separate. It's like why people think we're twins is because we're twin flames. But other twins, the way that they're actually are separate is that they're spiritually
But if people are, that I just can't imagine.
I can't imagine.
I don't even know what that would be like, truly. It'd be hard.
It really would be like,
exist.
especially if they're like, not fraternal, the other one.
Identical
twins.
Yeah.
If they're identical twins,
that'd be crazy.
and they have the same DNA,
That would be
hard.
It'd be very hard.
It'd be hard.
Let us know. Are you an
you're one of
identical
those.
twin? Like, please, like, what is it like?
Identical twin, and do you have like, are you a twin
Are
flame?
you like connected
both
on a spiritual level?
Dude.
Okay. I do want to talk about the multiple book boyfriends for a second because I know you mentioned it and, you know, you're happily married and there's a lot of bookies. Like, we have a lot of book
Really?
girlies and boys.
Yeah, but are they like fictional readers or are they like
they're all the above.
self-help readers?
No, they're mostly we got some nerds out there. We got some fictional. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, which one's nerd? Like, which one are you?
Oh, that's funny. Personally, for me, I don't find my books nerdy, but they're probably more nerdy than fictional. Yeah. So to me, like,
if you're a nerd,
if you're reading about vampires and just that kind of stuff, like, that's, to me, that's nerdy. But
Lauren's coming for us.
So okay, I want to talk about that. So
Okay.
I know you talked about like the sex stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any other way that like your real life relationship complements your imaginative escapes into book worlds? Like, does it ever go the opposite direction where you're like not just inspired from your books, but like you see your own like friendships or your relationship like with Spencer or with people that you have and you like see it in books ever? Or is it completely separated?
When I first started reading, and like you tell me that you got like book people, and now I'm shy because I've just recently become a book girly. Okay, so like she's new.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, all the guys, which is a good thing, which is like, it just goes to show, you know, I love my husband because all the guys looked like Spencer
In your brain.
in my brain.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Now, not so much.
Now, I mean, I've been reading so many now that like
They can't always.
they can't all be him. No, but they are. I mean, my brain's just expanding. Like my imagination's growing. Like there was a point where it was hard to have an imagination with social media just telling us
what's happening,
pouring that information into us.
Yeah.
And so the longer I've been reading, the more my imagination has grown.
Yep.
And I see different homes. I see different people. I actually see them for what the readers.
You are creating a world.
Yeah. For what
mind,
the writer is telling me.
Yeah.
So there was a moment, but there are still times that like, yeah, like I'll see Spencer and some of the guys.
Yeah.
I'll see me and
Yourself.
Obviously in the
Main character.
yeah.
Main character energy.
And there are even times like I'll see like my friends in something. I haven't really thought about it. Like I like the rest of it, like my life being in it. So like, you know, a bar or I don't know.
Right.
Like,
Like consciously, you haven't thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, I have to feel like I relate to it to be interested in it.
Yeah.
In some way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some of it is more just like I hope it exists out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I hope it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of your imagination.
Yeah.
So something that we should address is we had our own imagination world.
Yes. Tell them how this all started.
And so Brooke and I grew up in the same room together for several years from like, I don't know, I was probably like 6 years old to I was 12. So like for 6 years. But
which is a big part of like growing up.
Pivotal times from 6 to 12, and Brooke was like, what?
4.
I think it was 3, 4
to
10. Ish.
Yeah. Math.
Yeah, math ish. And so that's like childhood, right? Like once I was a preteen, I got my own room, whatever. So during our actual childhoods, Brooke and I shared a room, and our parents made like the most magical room for us. Like, had this amazing painter come in and make this
mural.
Our whole room was painted, the whole thing of like this garden, meadow. Yeah, it was a big meadow. And like our, like there was like a front of the house look where that was like our, where our clothes were.
They built like a closet situation that looked like the front of the house.
Front of a house. There was
beds. Our beds had flower.
It was like a flower bed. It was a
flower bed, but then like it had like the headboard was like a flower pot that would go like on a window, like the outside of a window. It was that, and then we had even on top of that. What are those called?
Yeah, I can't think of it, but like the little awning.
The awning, that goes on top of like a door. Like we had those on top of our beds.
Mm-hmm.
And then our actual closet doors was the garage.
Yeah, there's a little blue car on it.
It was insane.
Yeah, so everything was so beautiful. And then lastly, but certainly not least, in the corner of our
definitely not
room, there was a cute little sun that was just hanging.
It was like a stuffed animal sun.
Yeah, like a little stuffed sun.
Yeah.
And we never like spoke to the sun. It was never like it was this entity that was never spoken about, but it was
always watching over us.
It was always watching over us. It's how we kind of came up with the word for our world of imagination. Anytime we'd go into this world, which was always when we were in our room together, and it was called Sunnyville. And so this meadow room overlooked by this little sun in the corner that was really an underplayed character. Like it was not like a main thing, but he was there.
He was like God.
Yeah. He was like
he was the God of our universe.
Yes. And so it was like, anyway, so anytime that, Brooke and I have gone into a world of like deep diving, either with our imagination, talking about the future, talking about like, future kids, when we have kids and we do this, or we go deep dive into something spiritual or magical, or we just kind of lose ourselves in a conversation and we're kind of like finishing each other's sentences and we almost start talking our own language. It's Sunnyville. Like that's when we know we're like in this zone of Sunnyville. And we really figured out that it was always with us whenever we were on tour together. We're like, we realized that we needed moments with just the two of us, you know, because we needed to connect as sisters. And anytime we would have that like connection, we'd be able to like get back to Sunnyville.
Yeah.
And that's when we realized as adults that it's like always still in us.
It's always there.
Even though we're not like in that room together anymore. And like that room isn't even there anymore in that way. It's sad. But Sunnyville. So when we were rebranding to Curiocity, it was like Curiocity was like is like a part of Sunnyville.
Yeah.
In a way. So Sunnyville is like huge. It's like this huge.
Well, because Sunnyville is not only like us. Sunnyville is also just dreams, imagination.
Right.
Like, so like it was us together, but it's also us separately. It's our consciousness. Like it's our subconscious.
Yeah, it's like our consciousness, like where we go to like think about things.
To dream, to hope, to whatever. Like Sunnyville is that. And we created it together in a room together.
But we like exist in it individually.
Separately and together. Yeah. And it grows even more the more we're together.
And so when Curiosity, when I was like first creating it and it was like kind of being born in my brain, I was realizing it was a lot like Sunnyville in the sense that it is its own world with its different elements. So Curiosity is like a city to me in Sunnyville, even though Sunnyville sounds like it's a city in and of itself, but where you try on different things.
I called it a dollhouse.
It's like a dollhouse. Yeah. Explain what like you kind of came up with this in like the vlogcast we did originally when we first went to, like changed to Curiosity. It's very like dollhouse, very like Barbie CEO.
What did do you know what I said like in that statement
let's see. Well, it says you described Curiosity as a place of imagination, like akin to the dollhouse of our childhood.
Yeah. So Curiosity was like the dollhouse within the land of imagination. It's the place that you go to this dollhouse, and this dollhouse is sick. Like it's got an elevator, like it's like it's got a slide. It's got everything that you could ever want in a dollhouse. Like it's got it all. It's got, a jet plane in the back. It's got all these things. It's a place that you go to try on things. It's the place that you go to like go try on that dress or this blah 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 or try on new personalities.
Now I'm thinking our fort was Curiosity.
Yes,
that's where our dollhouse
that's what I'm thinking.
And plane was, and where we like wrote all over the walls.
Yes,
I'm like, wait, was our fort Curiosity?
Yes,
the OG,
the fort. Yeah, anyway. We had a fort that was also our room was literally the most magical place on earth.
It really was.
We had a fort inside of our closet. Like there was a hidden door, and then
it was an attic that our parents put like carpet down, and we got to play.
And the walls we could write on the walls. And everything. It was crazy. Anyway, but Curiosity is this place that you can go, aka a dollhouse, that you try on different personalities.
Like today, Barbie's an astronaut.
Today she's a businesswoman. Today she's a like 70s rock star. Like you can be anything you want to be in this house, and it's a place that you get to go to try it on. Yeah. And to have these parties and to bring your friends. It's a place that you go to bring your friends, to invite people in, and to just have fun and dream together.
It's where you try things on.
It's a place where you try things on.
Yeah.
And and with all these accessories, and you get all these accessories, you get to dream about, traveling to another place because you got the jet plane in the back. You have like the cute little Jeep in the front that you're just like, maybe we'll go to the beach today. Like, it's just a place that you dream and think and try things on and have fun with your friends and invite people in to do the same.
Yeah. Period.
Done.
Period. And that's on that.
That's Curiosity in the world and the land of Sunnyville.
In the land of Sunnyville. Yeah. I mean, that's really it. And
Curiosity is a dollhouse.
I normally ask people what Curiosity, like what role it plays in their life. Do you have like anything you want to say on that?
Yeah. I mean, Curiosity is like the most important thing, I think. It is what keeps you hoping, what keeps you dreaming, what keeps you young. Yeah. And if you don't have curiosity in your life, probably really sad.
Yeah.
You're probably religious. Sorry.
She's ending with fire.
Sorry. No.
No, you're probably not wrong.
You're probably just like going off of a life that has already just been planned out for you and written out for you. Curiosity is freedom. Curiosity is imagination, and is the place that you can. It keeps us being human. Yeah, curiosity does, instead of being these robots that just do what we think we're meant to do to be human. Yeah, curiosity is us acting as humans.
Love that. I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on.
Were we interesting?
She's so nervous. Yes, you're so interesting.
Should we mention
what? Oh, yes.
What we're doing?
We must. Okay, so
because if we're in the dollhouse of Curiosity,
we must talk about the other
the room that's in the dollhouse.
Yeah, so we have a room in Curiosity.
That's like a miniature version of Sunnyville.
Literally.
So Sunnyville's the land. Curiosity is the dollhouse.
Curiosity has a bathroom.
Okay.
And in this bathroom, it's the girls' bathroom.
It's the girls' room.
Where the girls talk about...
It's the place that all the girls go whenever they don't want to deal with their Kens anymore.
Yep.
They go into... They go into this bathroom, as you all know, if you're out there and you go to dinner anywhere, like the girls are going to go to the bathroom, they're going to go to the girls' room.
And that's where we talk about everything.
We cry. We talk shit.
Yes.
We talk encouragement.
So
we hype the girls up. We drink.
Brooke and I have a show called The Girls' Room.
The Girls' Room.
And it is it's newly branded that, but it's a show on Yoko Nashville. It's the radio that we work at. And it's every Friday at 4:30 to 6. Mm-hmm. And it's live and we play music. So it's really fun. So it's really like if you're getting ready to go out on a Friday night, it's literally the perfect thing to listen to.
Yeah.
Like we hype you up. We tell hilarious stories.
Yeah.
We have segments.
Yeah.
And those segments are...
Get it off your breast.
Get it off your breast, where we share our hottest takes of anything. Just a hot take. And then we do
drink ifs,
where we try to get the other to drink based off of something we have or haven't done. So we're like, drink if you've,
stolen a glass from
queefed this week, whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Like whatever. And then we do this or that, which is...
Would you rather, basically.
Would you rather? And it could be something amazing or it could be something terrible.
Yeah, it's not like the gross ones or like, would you rather have no toenails or no hair? Like, it's not like that.
It's usually like, oh, this is going to be hard. Would you rather like a lifetime supply of wine or a lifetime supply of
ramen?
Yeah, great. So that's a good one. I'm coming up with too many good. I got to stop. And then what's we do tea. So we do like pop culture
about what's going on.
Tea. So we do like 2 to 4 of those each time.
Yeah.
It's a really fun show.
Really fun show. We just recently started like recording it here at different times too. So there's dreaming of what that's going to mean in the future. So stay tuned with that.
Yes.
But it's also, we're posting these things on social media. And so far, since we've rebranded, since we've like really kind of got a vision for what this is, we created the bathroom.
Yeah.
We literally decorated her bathroom as the girls' room.
Yeah.
That's in the room of Curiosity, which it literally is.
It literally is.
This is the bathroom in this room. Anyway, and we've posted some of these videos, and
some of them
the
have gone viral.
second video we ever posted went viral.
Yeah. Because it's a hot take.
It just goes to show you that, like, so we were all serious in this, and like you're asking me all my questions about me and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like the other side of us is we are sisters. Yeah. We are women, and we do talk shit. We talk. We're too honest. We're too blunt about these things.
Our little Instagram bio is like, we say what we're all thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah. We say what we're all thinking. So if you've ever wondered what the girls do when they go to the girls' room, you should tune into our shows. You can download the app Yoko Nashville.
Yeah.
Or also, we're going to start like, we post the videos. You can go to our Instagram.
Yeah.
At the Girls Room
Show.
Right? The Girls Room Show. At the Girls Room Show. And yeah.
And where can people find you?
Oh, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You can just follow my Instagram at just Brooke Kane.
Yeah.
Kane.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to see me most. And you can DM me if you want. And if you want to talk about books, I'll respond. If you don't, I won't.
Yeah, it's so true. She'll talk about books all day long. Okay. Well, thank you for being on.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening. We love you guys. Stay curious. And until next time, bye.